Have you ever noticed how some guys walk into a room and suddenly everything shifts? No fancy clothes, no loud entrances, but somehow every head turns. It's like when she looked up from her phone, caught his glance, and didn't look away. You probably told yourself, he's just naturally attractive. I could never pull that off. But here's the uncomfortable truth. It wasn't his looks. It wasn't luck. It was something else. Hidden signals. Subconscious triggers. And right now, you're missing them without even knowing it. But after this, you won't. Comment the last time you saw that guy who seemed magnetic without trying. Stick around till the end, because the final trait is the one almost every guy ignores. You walk into the cafe. It's late afternoon. The lighting's low. Golden hour slipping through the windows. The kind of scene that feels like a memory before it's even finished happening. You order your drink, maybe glance around once, twice, and then you see him. He's not doing anything special. He's sitting in the corner, one hand resting on a book, the other wrapped around a mug. There's a quiet stillness about him. A relaxed posture, the faintest hint of a smirk, like he's in on a joke no one else knows. He doesn't look around. He doesn't need to. The people notice him anyway. You see the girl at the window glance up, then look again. The barista lingers a little too long when she brings his order. Even the guy at the next table seems a little self-conscious about how loud he's laughing. You can't put your finger on it. Why him? He's not dressed to impress. He's not. Even on his phone. And still, it's like the entire room is magnetized to his presence. You probably tell yourself it's just confidence or good looks. Maybe he just has that vibe. But here's the truth, and you're not going to hear this in most places. What you're seeing is social gravity. A subtle, invisible force that some men carry without even speaking. It's not about what he's saying. He hasn't said a word. It's not about how he looks. You'll notice no flashy clothes, no attention-seeking posture, nothing screaming, "Look at me." It's about how he makes other people feel without even trying. Calm, intrigued, pulled in. Most guys walk into a room hoping to be seen. Magnetic men walk in, and everything rearranges itself around them. Was that just luck? No, Don. It's a set of signals. Psychological triggers that speak without words. And right now, most guys are sending the wrong ones. But you're different. You're the kind of guy who notices. So next time you walk into a room, try this. Slow down. Shoulders back. Chin neutral. No sudden movements. No frantic energy. Just stillness. That's how it starts. Imagine this. You're at a party. The music's thumping. Conversations are flying. Everyone's trying to be louder, funnier, more impressive. The air is thick with performance. Nervous laughter. Exaggerated gestures. People interrupting each other to get a word in. And then, there's him. He's not the center of attention. He's not trying to be. But somehow, he's where everyone ends up. He's leaning back against the wall, drink in hand, perfectly still. He's watching, listening, nodding occasionally, while everyone else is bouncing from person to person, over-explaining, overreaching. He's just there, grounded, calm, unshaken, and the more chaotic the room becomes, the more people are drawn to him. Why? Because in a world of noise, calm becomes rare. And rarity is magnetic. There's a psychological phenomenon at play here called emotional regulation anchoring. When people feel uncertain or overstimulated, they subconsciously look for the most grounded presence in the room and gravitate toward it. He doesn't demand attention. He absorbs it. You ever notice how a confident guy can walk slower than everyone else and somehow seem faster? That's not just style. That's control. That's emotional leadership without saying a word. And here's what's crazy. Most men think being magnetic is about being bigger, louder, more dominant. But women aren't just looking for volume. They're scanning for safety, for certainty, for the guy who feels like he knows who he is, even in a storm. Calm presence says, I don't need to chase anything. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. So the next time you feel that nervous energy rising, pause, breathe, exhale slowly, and do something radical. Wait, look around deliberately. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Resist the urge to speak just to fill the silence, because silence, when owned, becomes power. You're not trying to impress the room. You are the room, and people will feel it, even if they can't explain it. Now picture this. You're standing across the room. There's a woman nearby, effortlessly attractive, caught up in her conversation. You glance her way, and suddenly your eyes meet. She looks back, just for a second. Her gaze lingers, then flickers away. Most guys, they panic. They overthink it instantly. Was that a signal? Or just random? And here's the usual mistake. They either stare too long, making it awkward, or they look away too fast, breaking the tension before it's even begun. But the magnetic man? He plays it differently. His eyes stay calm, steady, no panic, no neediness. He holds her gaze just slightly longer than what feels safe, not challenging, not aggressive. Just present. And then, at exactly the right moment, he lets a faint smile creep in, almost as if to say, yeah, I saw you too. And then, he looks away. Now, here's what most guys don't realize. Eye contact isn't about staring someone down. It's not about being intense or intimidating. It's about relaxed curiosity. Because the second you start seeking validation in her eyes, you've already lost. But when your eye contact is steady, effortless, almost playful, everything changes. Women are wired to detect subtext in eye contact. It's one of the oldest social signals we have as humans. A calm, grounded gaze says, I'm not threatened. I'm not chasing. I'm simply noticing. And that is irresistible. Think about it. You've probably seen two guys talking before. One's fidgeting, darting his eyes, looking everywhere but the person in front of him. The other? Calm, focused, holding the gaze just enough to make you wonder what he's thinking. Who feels more powerful? Exactly. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need to master this overnight. It's a simple practice. Next time you lock eyes with someone, hold it just a second longer than feels comfortable. Then, before you look away, let your lips curl into the faintest, most subtle smile. That moment will stick. Because here's the truth. Most guys break eye contact first. But you'll know better. Now let's shift gears. You're at dinner with friends. The vibe is good. Laughter echoing, plates clinking, casual chatter bouncing around the table. And one guy starts talking. And immediately, something shifts. He speaks. Slowly, deliberately. His words roll out like he's tasting each, one before letting it go. No rushing, no filler words. And then, right in the middle of a sentence, he pauses. Just stops. Suddenly, every voice at the table fades. Heads turn. People lean in without even realizing it, because in that pause, there's power. Why does it feel like every word he says matters more? Simple. We're wired to chase what feels scarce. In conversations, most people rush, afraid of awkward silence, afraid they'll lose attention. So they fill the space with noise. But that's exactly what makes their words forgettable. But the man who isn't afraid of silence, he becomes unforgettable. This is the art of unhurried speech. It's not about sounding slow or dull. It's about creating rhythm. A push and pull between words and pauses. When you speak with intention, every sentence becomes a hook. Every pause becomes an invitation. And here's the twist. It's not just about how others hear you. It's about how you feel when you speak. The slower you speak, the more in control you feel. You're no longer chasing reactions. You're directing the energy. Think back to the last time you heard a great storyteller. Chances are, they weren't the loudest. They weren't the fastest. But their pauses, their pacing, it drew you in. Like gravity, that's no accident. Unhurried speech signals confidence, patience, and most importantly, presence. It says, I'm comfortable enough with myself to let my words breathe. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Women are incredibly sensitive to this. A man who speaks slowly, with intention, sends a very specific message. I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to connect. So here's your challenge. In your next conversation, practice intentional pauses. Instead of filling every gap, let the silence stretch for a heartbeat longer than feels natural. Then speak, slowly, clearly, like every word matters, because they will. And watch what happens. People will start leaning in, and you'll realize you've had this power all along. It always starts the same way. You're standing across the room. Maybe it's a bar, maybe it's a casual hangout. You notice her first. She's laughing, talking, playing with her hair in that absent-minded way women do when they're comfortable. And then she glances your way. It's quick. Almost too quick to catch, but you don't flinch. You don't give her the satisfaction of a full smile or an obvious reaction. Instead, you let the faintest hint of a smirk tug at the corner of your mouth. Just enough for her to wonder, did he notice me? Then, as casually as you can, you look away, like you've already moved on. And right there, in that moment, something powerful happens. She feels it. That subtle, playful micro-expression. It hits her like a spark. She doesn't even fully understand why, but suddenly she's aware of you in a way she wasn't before. Most guys completely overlook this. They try too hard to force charm. They laugh too loud, make over-the-top jokes, or try to hold exaggerated expressions, thinking that humor needs to be obvious to work. But real magnetic playfulness isn't loud. It's quiet. It's the secret grin that says, I know something you don't. It's the subtle eyebrow raise when she says something bold. It's the amused glance you give her when she pretends she isn't interested. Because here's the truth. Women are experts at reading faces. Micro-expressions are their specialty. They're biologically wired to detect these signals, even when they can't consciously explain them. And subtle smirks? They trigger curiosity. They suggest confidence without arrogance. They hint at mischief without saying a word. This isn't about being cocky. It's about playful mystery. The kind that makes her wonder what you're thinking. The kind that makes her want to get closer. Just to find out. So the next time you catch her watching you, don't overreact. Let that faint, almost imperceptible smirk appear for just a second. Then break eye contact slowly, as if you've already moved on to something else entirely. Most men never master this, but once you do, it's a secret weapon. There's something almost hypnotic about watching a man who owns his space. Picture this. You're at a networking event. Everyone's glued to their phones, awkwardly scanning the room, pretending they aren't desperate to make a connection. Except for him. He's leaning casually against the wall, one hand tucked loosely in his pocket. No phone in sight. He's still, relaxed, completely at ease. And the most fascinating part? He's not looking around for anyone. But somehow, people start looking at him. It starts subtly. A glance here, a double take there. Slowly, people begin to orbit around him. It's like gravity. Why? Because true confidence doesn't fidget. It doesn't seek. It rests. See, most guys think they need to do something to seem confident. They puff their chest, cross their arms, adjust their watch, check their phone every 2 seconds. But all that fidgeting, it betrays insecurity. Magnetic men know this. They understand that physical stillness is a signal. one of quiet dominance. Think about it. Animals do this instinctively. In the wild, the alpha doesn't need to move frantically to be respected. He's grounded, rooted, observing. He owns his space. Women notice this too, almost instantly. There's something deeply attractive about a man who seems so comfortable in his own skin that he doesn't need to fill the air with unnecessary movement. It suggests certainty. It suggests control. It suggests I belong wherever I am. And here's the kicker. It's easier than you think. Next time you enter a room, plant your feet firmly. Relax your shoulders. Let your arms rest naturally at your sides or loosely crossed, not in a defensive way, but with comfort. Resist the urge to shift your weight or fidget. And most importantly, leave your phone in your pocket. Stand still. Breathe. Observe. When you do this, something magical happens. You begin to radiate calm. You become the guy who doesn't need attention and therefore gets it anyway. You'll start to notice people approaching you. You'll feel the room slowly start to bend toward you, and you'll realize it was never about being flashy. It was about being still. Next time you're out, try this for just 30 seconds. No shifting, no fidgeting. Just stand, breathe, own it. Watch what happens. There's a moment every man needs to experience at least once. It's not flashy. It doesn't come with fireworks or applause. But when it happens, you'll feel it. You're sitting across from her. The world around you is a blur. Background noise, clinking glasses, muffled conversations. She's talking. Her words spilling out like water, flowing faster the more she speaks. And you're just listening, not waiting to talk. Not planning your next line. Just fully present, absorbing everything she says. And then it happens. She leans in, slightly at first, then more. Her eyes soften. Her voice lowers. It's subtle, but unmistakable. She's drawn in, not because you've said anything special, but because you've done something almost no one does anymore. You've listened. Here's a truth that'll flip everything you think you know about attraction. Being magnetic isn't about being interesting. It's about being interested. Most guys, they're trapped in their own head during conversations. They're focused on sounding clever, impressive, funny. They nod along, but their mind is racing toward what they'll say next. But the magnetic man? He slows down. He makes it his mission to make the other person feel like they're the only one in the room. This isn't about being fake or manipulative. It's about learning the hidden power of focused attention. Because here's what happens when you truly listen. People feel. Seen. And that's rare, especially for women who are used to guys half listening while scrolling their phone or scanning the room. When you lean in slightly, hold her gaze softly, and react not with words, but with subtle shifts. A slight head tilt, a small smile, raised eyebrows of curiosity. It sends a message loud and clear. I'm right here with you. Every word matters. And the irony? The less you speak, the more powerful your presence becomes. She'll walk away from that conversation thinking about you, not because of what you said, but because of how you made her feel. So here's your challenge. In your next conversation, say less. Ask one meaningful question. Then, listen. Really listen. Don't rush to fill the gaps. Let her talk and watch how she leans in. You'll realize listening isn't passive. It's magnetic. Now we come to the most powerful trait of all. The one that can't be faked. The one that lingers long after the room empties. Purpose. See. There's something about a man on a mission that's instantly magnetic. It doesn't matter if he's rich or famous. It doesn't matter what he looks like. What matters is that unmistakable pull he carries, like he's moving towards something bigger than this moment. Picture this. It's late. The bar is buzzing. The night's still young. But he's leaving early. Not because he's bored, not because he's chasing someone else, because he has somewhere else to be, a project to finish, a vision to pursue, a mountain only he can climb. He moves through the door with quiet urgency, backpack slung over one shoulder, a faint smile playing on his lips, and people feel it. They don't even know why they're watching him go, but they are. Because purpose isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. It's in the way he walks. The calm in his eyes. The fact that he's not here to impress anyone, because he's already chasing something far more meaningful. Here's what most men don't understand. You can master every other trait in this video. The calm presence, the eye contact, the unhurried speech, the playful smirks, but without purpose. It's incomplete. Purpose is the thread that ties it all together. It gives you quiet confidence. It keeps you grounded when others are flailing for attention. It makes your energy irresistible because it says, without words, I don't need this moment, but I'm fully here for it. And that's what women sense immediately. A man who's not looking to be saved. A man who isn't waiting for life to begin. A man who's already moving. So here's your final challenge. Tonight, write down one thing you'd pursue even if no one noticed, even if no one cared, even if it never went viral. Then tomorrow, take the first step toward it. Not for her, not for them, for you. Because purpose isn't about chasing applause. It's about becoming the man you were meant to be. And once you start living like that, everything and everyone starts to follow. Here it is, your personal roadmap to becoming magnetic without even trying. Calm presence. Breathe deeply. Slow your movements. Be the calm in the chaos. Focused eye contact. Hold her gaze. Just long enough to intrigue, then release it with a knowing smile. Unhurried speech. Speak slowly, deliberately. Let silence do the heavy lifting. Subtle smirks. Use micro-expressions to hint at playfulness and mystery. Silence, self-assurance. Own your space. Stillness speaks louder than words. Deep listening. Make her feel heard. Lean in, be present. Ask more than you speak. Purpose-led energy. Walk your path. Move towards something bigger than approval. These aren't tricks. They're signals. Signals that you're the man who gets it. And now, you are. If this opened your eyes, drop a in the comments, because this isn't the end. It's the beginning.